just all of that was part of it. So at the very end, we did go back to our cabin, and people had said, it's a mix between, is it worth it to have a cabin with a balcony, or is it not? I had always heard you want to have a balcony, and then before we left, listening to YouTube and all these honey maphonies that's on YouTube, thinking that they're good travel experts, people were saying, no, you don't necessarily want a balcony because the weather is cold, you're not going to want to sit out there, so on and so forth. But what we found was we could still see a lot of the sights. It was not that cold. And sometimes it was just nice to have that view and have that moment in the privacy of your own space where you could sit there and take pictures and not fight with other people about space, and just really kind of soak in where you were at that particular time. And so I still would recommend that you have a balcony. If nothing else, have an ocean view so that you can see when you're getting there, so you can run to the observation deck. But you kind of miss out some if you are on an inside cabin. Plus, because of the time, it was like 18, 19 hours of sunlight.
Yes.
So the days went on forever, and you could see forever. And that kind of kept me up, which is good, because I'm a person, I'm kind of like a bear. I think you're supposed to hibernate and go to bed when it starts getting dark. So, because it was light longer, I stayed up longer and did more things in the evening, which was kind of nice. But I also slept longer in the morning. It was nice.
It was very nice.
And we want to give a shout out to Norwegian Cruise Line. We had a mini suite. I'm just going to tell you, we had a mini suite with a balcony, and this room was amazing because we had a separate little living area that I could close off and watch TV while he took naps. And it turned out to be a really good space for us to be on a 16-day cruise. Because it was so long, it was nice to have that separation sometimes when we wanted it. So the room was really good. So, what's next on your bucket list, Mitchell?
My next trip, I would like to do the Amazon.
Oh.
Small cruise ship. And actually do the Amazon, do that. Like to do the Cape of Good Horn.
Okay.
Maybe I would like to see the Maui's. What are those heads that they got out in the South Pacific? They sit on this island.
Oh, yeah.
But right now, I guess the number one big thing now would be doing the Amazon. Since we're here in Panama.
And it's kind of close.
Right, but the chances of me getting you to do the Amazon is...
Under the right circumstances, I would do the Amazon. I'm not going to maybe that's a boys' trip. Mitchell's going to put a boys' trip together just for you guys to do the Amazon, and I'm going to sit this one out, maybe. I'll have to figure out how I feel about that. But I know my next trip I'm going back to Alaska.
I know, but you've done that once, and I'm ready to do that again. I mean, I'm very seldom am I that excited about.
I know, it's been a long time since you've been that excited about it.
And so, I would like to do that again, but as far as another bucket list check off is the Amazon.
Mine's Tahiti. I got to go to Tahiti before you go to Amazon.
Then that could be a girl trip.
The girls are going to Tahiti, the boys are going to the Amazon. Well, I appreciate you. I didn't even have to bribe him to do this show with me today.
So you kicking me off? No, you can't kick me off. I'm ready to go.
Oh, maybe I can get you on here every week then.
Okay, I hear it till I have the door. I need to go in.
That's what I thought. So thanks for being on the show. I'm glad you came on to talk about your experience in Alaska, and hopefully you'll come back on and do some other stuff with us.
Bribe me.
Bribe you. I'm not bribing him. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back with travel news and travel trends. Talk to you in a minute.
If you like the sound of vacationing at a 5-star luxury included resort, Sandals has a symphony of romantic indulgences just for you. Sandals hits all the right notes for two people in love. Miles of pristine beaches harmonize with beautiful turquoise seas. Love Nest Suites are orchestrated with private plunge pools and tranquility soaking tubs for two. The tempo increases with unlimited land and water sports, including scuba diving and golf. Your taste buds are treated to a rhapsody of 5-star global gourmet dining at up to 16 world-class restaurants, including endless pours of premium spirits and wine, music to anyone's ears. From live entertainment to taxes, tips, and transfers, it's all included, all unlimited, and only at Sandals, the world's only 5-star luxury included resorts, voted world's best 21 years in a row.
To book your Sandals vacation, contact Peaks Cruises and Tours at 512-529-3696 or peakscruisestours.com. Welcome back to your Bucket List Buster. Karen Duncan here, your host, and today is all things Alaska. As you heard, or maybe not, if you're just joining us for the second half of the show, we just came back from an amazing bucket list trip, and Alaska was a big draw for us. So I want to talk a little bit about some trends in Alaska. This is according to Renee Brinks of Travel Weekly. 3 Alaska travel trends. Alaska continues to see strong cruise traffic. So most of you may or may not know, but there is a very short window for people to visit Alaska via cruise, and that's between May and mid-September. And that's because the weather changes there dramatically after that or before that. We got there were still snow-capped mountains. It was brisk, but it wasn't freezing. It was sunny. I've heard that in May, a lot of times you can have some rain. We only encountered a little bit of mist and rain in Icy Point. The rest of the time, it was very, very sunny. But any time of the year, any time of the summer, our summer, as in the United States summer, it could rain in Alaska, so you'll want to make sure you dress accordingly. But cruise traffic is up by 7%. Air traffic is up by 4%. Alaska is on a lot of people's bucket list. And because it's such a short travel season in Alaska, the prices tend to be a little bit higher for cruises than ordinarily you find for other destinations, but it's because of the demand to get there. There's lots of ships being built and brought into Alaska specifically for Alaska season. So it's really good to know what you're dealing with. So Princess Cruise Line, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Lindblad Expeditions are planning new Alaska deployments in 2019. Windstar returned in 2018 for the first time in 27 years. So, ships are there. The cruise lines are serious about Alaska, and not to say, I don't want you to get the impression that it's extremely busy or overcrowded. Some of these towns, they accommodate it. And there are times when there's multiple ships in port, I will agree. I kind of liked going in May, at the beginning of the season, because there weren't that many in port. The weather is a lot more predictable later in the summer. Next year we're going in June, so I'll see what the difference is. But because we were one of the first ships to come in for the season, it was really good. Another trend for Alaska is winter interest is on the rise. So not everybody is afraid of Alaska cold weather as I am. And more companies are starting to promote tours and travel during the winter season of Alaska. And there's lots to do. So, it's busy in the summer. Winter traffic is up substantially, accounting for about 14% of overall visitor market. And this is in large part due to viewing and visits to the interior. So Fairbanks, Denali National Park and Preserve Denali has a winter fest that takes place in February. Weekend events bring ranger-led snowshoe walks and ski tours, ice carving demonstrations, that type of thing. So people that like winter events, there's a lot going on. Plus, the Alaska Railroad has some great new winter departures for the 5th year in a row. So they have customizable tour packages that can include the base camps and just a lot of things that can take place in Alaska during the winter time. So don't be afraid if you like the snow and you like the cold. There are lots of things to do. The third trend that's very popular in Alaska right now is multi-generational travel. Let me just say, as a mom who got to experience Alaska with my son, it was a wonderful connection. First of all, in our particular case, we were on the ship 16 days, and he's one of the entertainment cast for the Norwegian Jewel right now. And I don't know about you and your adult children, but unless you live very close to them, you very seldom get to spend the quality time that you get to do on a cruise ship. Not that you're stuck by the hip all day, every day. We were not. But we got to have meals together and just kind of sit down and chitty-chat and catch up with each other's lives. We got to go to the disco and listen to music. I got to go to his shows. We got to celebrate his birthday and had a special dinner at one of the specialty dining places. And he had never been to Teppanyaki, or he had been and he wasn't really impressed. I can't remember. I think he had been and he had not been, and so we did teppanyaki, and he absolutely loved it. Oh, I know what it was. He had been, but he didn't order the right thing. This time he ordered what we ordered, which was the steak and shrimp, and he was blown away. He has now decided that teppanyaki is one of his favorite restaurants. Plus, the cake they gave him was super amazing. He actually loved it. So it was fun, and this is the second time I've been on a cruise with my adult children. The first one, we had 3 out of the 4 kids with us, my mom and an aunt and some cousins. And let me just say that this is a fantastic way to see an amazing place and spend some quality time with each other. This is a trip that your children and grandchildren, even your grandparents, will take away a memory that will last for the rest of their lives, however long that is. You cannot recreate these type of things through gifts, or even if you live close to each other in the city and you see each other every day. There's nothing like being on vacation in a place where everything's done for everyone, so no one has to cook or clean, and actually spend some quality time together. That's all I'm going to say. There's lots of growth in multi-generational families traveling to Alaska, and I highly, highly recommend this if you get a chance to do it. So that's it. So let's talk a little bit about weekly news. I know Mitchell and I kind of talked about the dispensaries in Alaska. It's like I said, I'm going to do a whole show on cannabis tourism, because it is a thing right now. Whether you agree with it or not, it is a thing. It's part of travel and tourism. It's becoming parts of people's lives. I am a proponent of CBD oil. I use it. I've had chronic disease, and it has done wonders for me. And I know that for my friend who's child has epilepsy, it has done wonders for him as well. So the TSA is now allowing medicinal CBD oil approved by the FDA